American, welcome to Travel Secrets with TV's Dave Galvin. I am your host, TV's Dave Galvin, and today we're going to talk a little bit about how cruise lines actually make their money. So the ticket price is the hook, the ticket price is the bait, the ticket price is the reason you click book. Cruise lines are experts in dynamic pricing. They use complex algorithms and adjust the cost of your cabin based on real-time demand. Why? Because an empty cabin earns $0. A cabin sold for $400 for a week still puts a butt in there, and that person's gonna, buy drinks and play blackjack and book a massage. Your base fare mostly goes towards the invisible costs of the trip. We are talking about fuel, port taxes, and the thousands of crew members who keep the ship running. In fact, many industry insiders admit that the cheapest sailings, the cruise line might actually lose money on the ticket itself after paying travel agent commissions and marketing costs. They are not worried though, because they know that once you are on board, that's when the real money starts flowing. So the bar is where the profit lives. The bar is where the party starts. The bar is the ultimate cash cow. Alcohol is arguably the most profitable item on any cruise ship. So think about this. A cruise line buys beer and wine and liquor and massive tax-free quantities. They don't pay the same import duties or local taxes that your neighborhood pub does. When you pay $14 for a mojito, the actual cost of the ingredients to the cruise line is likely less than $1. Multiply that by 4,000 thirsty passengers and you have a revenue stream that would make Wall Street banker blush. Then there are drink packages. These are a psychological masterpiece. You pay a flat daily fee, often $60 to $110 per person per day, to have unlimited drinks. And it feels like a deal because you don't have to worry about the bill at the end of the week. However, the cruise line has crunched the numbers. They know that the average person won't actually consume enough alcohol to outpace the cost of the package over 7 days. You might win on day one, but by day 5, the unlimited package is pure profit for the house. The casino, that's the heartbeat of the ship. The casino is the only place where the lights never dim. This is high margin heaven. Unlike land-based casinos in places like, Nevada or Atlantic City, New Jersey, cruise ship casinos operate in international waters, and this means they aren't always subject to the same strict payout regulations and oversight as their shoreside counterparts. Have you ever noticed that the slot machines on the ship seem a little tighter? You're not imagining it. While major lines still want you to have fun and win occasionally, the odds are heavily stacked in their favor. The casino is also one of the few places on the ship where cash flows freely. It requires very little overhead compared to a dining room or a theater. Once the machines are installed and the dealers are hired, almost every dollar lost by a passenger is straight profit. It is a brilliant way to capture the fun budget of thousands of people in a windowless, high-energy environment. The dining room is fantastic, and the dining room is included, and the dining room is just the starting point. Cruise lines have perfected the art of the upsell. In the culinary world, while the main dining room and the buffet offer incredible variety, the cruise line is going to spend the entire week tempting you with specialty restaurants. They offer the ultimate steakhouse experience, the freshest sushi, or an exclusive chef's table with wine pairings. You might pay an extra $40 to $100 per person for these meals. And while food is undoubtedly a higher quality, even on Carnival Cruise Line that I took, the food was terrible, but the steakhouse was fantastic. The real win for the cruise line is that every person eating in a specialty restaurant is one less person they have to serve in the free dining room. It reduces the strain on the main kitchen and brings in a fresh revenue simultaneously. It is a win-win for their bottom line. So here's something that people don't consider. The private island is exclusive, okay? The private island is pristine. The private island is a closed-loop economy. So the most brilliant move in the history of cruise industry was the acquisition and the development of private islands. When a ship docks in a public port, like Cozumel or Nassau, the ship line has to share your wallet with local shop owners, bars, and tour operators. On a private island like Coco Cay, Labadee, or Great Stirrup Cay, the cruise line owns everything. You want to drink on the beach? It's a cruise line bar. You want to go down a water slide? It's a cruise line park. You want to rent a jet ski? It's a cruise line excursion. Even the souvenirs are sold in cruise line operated shops. And by cutting out the middleman, The cruise line captures 100% of the revenue generated on that day. Plus, they save a fortune on fuel because these islands are often located very close to Florida. All right, so then there's shore excursions, okay? The tour is easy, the tour is safe, and the tour is marked up. When you book a shore excursion through the ship, you are paying for the peace of mind. The ship is going to guarantee that they're not going to leave without you if the tour comes back late, okay? That insurance comes at a steep price. Cruise lines typically take a 20% to 50% cut of the price you pay for an excursion. The local tour operator, they're going to provide the bus, the guide, and the gear, but the cruise line takes the lion's share of the profit just for being a booking platform. And for many travelers, this might be worth it. For the cruise line, it is a passive income. They use their massive platform to funnel thousands of people into prearranged tours, and they collect a massive referral fee on every single ticket sold. All right, let's talk about the gratuities. And this is something that's very controversial online. People complain about having to tip. They hate it. You get on the ship, the service is impeccable, they're friendly, and they're partially funded by you. So you're going to see a daily gratuity or service charge added to your bill somewhere between $16 to $20 per person per day. This is a crucial part of the cruise line's financial model. While they pay their cruise members a base salary, these mandatory service charges help offset the massive payroll required to run a ship with 1,500 plus staff members. It allows the cruise line to keep the advertised ticket price lower by moving part of the labor cost to separate the line item. Additionally, the crew members often come from countries with a lower cost of living. This isn't a secret, but it is a fundamental part of the economics. By hiring globally, cruise lines can maintain a massive staff-to-guest ratio that provides that luxury feeling without the astronomical labor costs of a land-based resort in the United States or Europe. Then there's the spa. The spa is relaxing. The spa is luxurious. The spa is high-margin retail center. If you have ever visited the onboard spa, you know the routine. You get a massage, and then the therapist spends 5 minutes explaining why your skin needs $300 worth of products. This is not a coincidence. The spa is an onboard ship. They sell duty-free watches, jewelry, designer bags, and paintings, for criminy sakes. This is all designed to capture the high-end spender. The profit margins on skincare and jewelry are enormous. Furthermore, the photo gallery, though becoming more digital, is another pure profit center. A professional photographer takes your photo at dinner or on the pier, and then the ship tries to sell you a digital file for $20. The cost of taking the photo is negligible. The profit is completely absolute. On the cost side, fuel, food, and commissions, the expenses are massive. The expenses are constant. The expenses are managed with surgical precision. To understand how they make money, you have to understand where they spend it. So fuel is the biggest variable. A large cruise ship can burn hundreds of thousands of dollars in fuel every single day. This is one reason why cruise lines are moving towards liquefied natural gas and more aerodynamic hull designs. Every percentage point they save on fuel is millions of dollars in added profit. Food is another one. You might feel like you're eating like royalty, but the cruise lines are the ultimate bulk buyers. They're spend roughly $10 to $15 per passenger per day on raw food ingredients because they buy such a massive scale. They have perfected the logistics of zero waste kitchens. They can provide high quality meals at a fraction of the cost a land-based restaurant is going to pay. Finally, they got to pay the travel agents. We have to get a cut of the action or we're not going to book with them. A significant portion of your fare is going to go towards the commission of the person who booked it for you. And this is the cost of doing business, but it's why the lines are pushing so hard for direct bookings on their own websites and their own apps. Every booking made directly is another 10 to 15% that they get to keep. You book with me a cruise on, say, Royal Caribbean. Well, now they have your email address and they're going to email you at least once a week and tell you what their specials are. Oh yes, click this link to book. Totally cutting out the travel agent. I'm not bitter at all. So if a cabin is empty, the cabin is a loss and the cabin must be filled. A cruise ship is a fixed cost machine, whether there are 2,000 or 4,000 people on board. The ship still needs fuel, the engines still need maintenance, and the captain still needs to get paid. This is why you will see last minute deals that seem too good to be true. The cruise line would rather sell you a cabin at a discount than leave it empty, because a person in a $100 cabin is still going to have to pay port fees and gratuities and might drop $1,000 in the casino. This heads and beds philosophy is what drives the entire industry. They are not selling transportation, they are selling access to a marketplace. The ship is the marketplace, and you are the customer. Oh, that's it for today's episode of Travel Secrets with TV's Dave Galvin, and we're going to see you next week with all new topics. See you then.